Hi there. Today on Tech Munchies, I'm going to address register globals. I've had a couple of people who've run into a problem where either a tutorial or an old script isn't working the way they expect it to, and 9 times out of 10, it's because of this little culprit here. So let's go ahead and show you exactly why this won't work anymore. Okay, here you see a very basic form HTML page that takes your name and your email and sends it to this script right here. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. That's not as helpful as I thought it would be. So we have this input, which takes your name, and this input, which takes email and sends it to revealphp.php. Then we have revealphp.php. Now this script is very simple. All it is echoing out what you've submitted. So here is your name and here is your email. Now this should be very simple, and so let's try it. Sam s at email.com. Click here, and this is what people expect to see. However, this is what they actually see, or they're seeing rather. Hello, you have submitted the email address. Basically, this has echoed out the text, but has skipped over the variables. Now, why is that? That is because with this script, you are assuming that something called register globals is set to on. And since PHP 4.2.0, registered globals has been by default turned off and has been deprecated as of PHP 5 and will be taken out completely in PHP 6. Now, why is that? Well, register globals automatically sets environment, get, post, cookie, server variables as global variables. See, when you passed this information to PHP, I was doing it with the get method. I could also use the post method. With register globals on, it automatically turns any information as a variable. Now what that does is it injects your scripts with all sorts of variables, like request variables from HTML forms. What that means is that people could conceivably inject, it makes it easier to inject bad code into your scripts. With register globals on, PHP sees no difference between any sort of data being passed to it, either by you or by someone outside of your script. So someone can spoof your form, let's say, and inject some bad code into it and possibly get sensitive information. So, as of PHP 4, they went ahead and automatically turned it off. So how do you fix that? Well, you could go into your php.ini file and turn it on. It's this simple. Save it, and then restart your Apache server. Your php.ini file you'll find on a Linux server under etc php 5 or php, Apache, Apache 2, and php.ini. But if you're, well, if you do have access to your server, you really don't want to do that because, like we said, the whole reason for this was that it is a big security hole. B, if you're using a hosting service, you probably don't have access to the php.ini file anyway. So how do you get around this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You simply use what is called a super global variable. What that means is, let's say in this script, we're using the get method, but we could be using the post method, or you could be using cookies. But here we're using the get method. So what PHP has is something called a get super global array, and it will take this information and put it into that super global array called get. So all we have to do is take these variables and put them in the array. So instead of name, get email. Now that I am using the super global variable, my script should work fine. And there you go. Hello, Sam. You have submitted the email address s@email.com. So it cuts down on, it's a big security hole that they patched up. Now, it doesn't fix all security problems, but this was a pretty big one. I mean, people could inject uh, bad code anywhere, passing it through the get method, and then PHP would just see this with register globals on as setting a variable. So if somewhere in your script you had secret equals 0 and that meant false, and it didn't reveal this information, well, with this, they've changed it to true and they can get a hold of that information. So, recap. If you're having trouble and you're writing script and you're following a tutorial or the script worked before and suddenly it's not working and everything looks okay, but you're using this kind of code, the problem is register globals is set off. All you have to do is replace this code from your forms with this code from your forms or your cookies or your sessions. I hope that clears some of the confusion up. If you want to read more about it, go to PHP's website right here. And they've got a whole thing on what was wrong with the register globals and why they took them out. And you can read more about super global arrays at the bottom here. So I hope that answered your question on why you're having trouble with your old PHP scripts. Thanks.